Well, welcome back to Pacwest Bigfoot Stories. This is David, and we're going to go ahead and get right into this next story. The title of tonight's, I would say, hair-raising event is titled Surrounded by a Clan of Bigfoot in Union Creek, Oregon. I know my story is short, but to tell you the truth, being surrounded by a clan of Bigfoot in Union Creek, Oregon, well, I'm glad it was short, and so was my son. It was scary. It was crazy. And I thought we might lose our lives, and that we would never make it back for Christmas that year, or any year after that. Here's a story of multiple Bigfoot attacking my son and me in Oregon's Rogue River National Forest. I love Christmas. I'm kind of a Christmas freak at the end of the day. Every year I would ride out to the Union Creek area with my family. Just down the road from the cabins and store, there is a snow playground we enjoy every year, the weekend after Thanksgiving. It's about a quarter of a mile down the road from the Union Creek Resort, and yes, we bust out the sleds and one snowmobile. One of our favorite things to do that day, though, before the wife, myself, and the two kids, Ryan and Sarah, head back down the mountains to our home in the Rogue Valley, we get the family Christmas tree while we're there. This year, however, it was just Ryan and me. The girls were sick at home with the flu, and they would not take no for an answer when it came to getting the Christmas tree on time at least. So, with little reluctance from myself and Ryan, we loaded up the saw, the snowmobile, and all the food we could and headed out around noon. This year, instead of making a whole day of it, we figured we would just run the legs on the snowmobile for a bit, searching for a tree just north a couple miles this time of the resort. Without the girls, it was just not worth the whole day, we thought. But we would not disappoint when it came to that Christmas tree. We would find our 8-footer no matter what. We reached Union Creek Resort in record time, probably because we were men on a mission, and you ladies know how that is, no stopping. Hey, all the sightseeing could be done once we landed. The snow was amazing, and now and again a few flakes would fall from the sky. The day was nice, though. The roads were clear, and the next storm was not due until after midnight. We would be gone before it hit, but even that was a close call after the event. After we had loaded up our coffee mugs at the restaurant, we jumped back in the truck and pulled out up the road about 4 miles. From there, we took a small dirt road turnoff up a mountain about 10 minutes. Let me pause and take a sip of my Sasquatch coffee. You guys can get this at sasquatchcoffee.com. This was one of our favorite places for the snowmobile, not to mention the best secret spot for Christmas trees in the entire Pacwest. At least I believed it. My son took off on the snowmobile. At 16 years of age, he was a true artist on that thing already. I figured eventually he'd be one of those crazy Winter X Game guys with that thing. After he had shown off a bit, the old man here jumped on and let the wind run through my knit cap for a bit. Soon we were laughing, eating, and drinking up the fine hot coffee from Becky's. We eventually got to work hunting the perfect tree, and that took nearly all afternoon. We were picky, that picky. Eventually we spotted it, a nearly 8-foot-tall Douglas fir classic. Part 2, Meet the Clan. It was getting on past 4, and soon it would be dark. Everything at the resort would be closing up right about now, if it wasn't already. We strapped everything down, including the beautiful tree. Boy, the girls would love this one, I thought. It was a great day. As we headed out, I heard a pop, and that is when I noticed that we had a flat tire. It had been years since I had one, and now, while the sun would soon be gone in about 20 minutes, I did not waste any time pulling over and getting to it. Nothing worse than getting stuck at night in the Pacific Northwest, especially in the winter. Hark. It took me about 45 minutes. Hey, we had to unlock the trailer too, and I'm not 21 anymore. Ryan was a great help though, and he kept his eye out too. Even here we have some nasties. I just had no idea that they were bigger ones until that day. Or that there were bigger ones until that day at least. We were back on the road, and the snow was starting to fall lightly as we drove down the old dirt road to the main junction. From there we would hop back on the highway and down the mountains. We turned onto the main highway, and about 10 minutes later I was driving slow because the old roads like this are not kept up. As we started to come up to the snow park area, I heard something smack the truck in the back panel. It was a couple of straps. They must have come loose off the snowmobile when we were changing the tire. I held out, pulling over for a quarter of a mile to have the 2 to 3 street lights that were located around the resort for more light. I would have to just pull over at the snow play area. I should have just pulled over at the snow play area looking back at it now. I got out, Ryan followed me, and went over to the side of the truck and tossed the straps over. I tossed the straps over to Ryan, and as I did, a scream hit us both like deer in a headlight. It was powerful. It went right through you. Most importantly, though, it was close, very close, and to my son. It must have been about 30 feet behind him or less. My brave son got his wits about him and tied on the straps lightning fast. We both made for the truck and shut the doors behind us. This is when I lost it, literally. I lost the keys outside on the ground somewhere. I told Ryan to grab the flashlight under the cab seat and the gun. We both climbed out my side, knowing that the scream came from the other side. Might as well stay as clear from whatever it was as we could. I have to tell you, I never heard anything like that in all my life. It was like a guttural banshee sound that just pierced your very soul. As we looked around, I noticed Ryan move the light away from the ground and across the street. He said he saw movement out of the corner of his eye. Well, he was not seeing things. A second later, as we looked into the dark, the beam of the flashlight hit 3 pairs of what looked like red eyes. They were not up a hill either. They were literally about 30 to 40 feet on the other side of the road, just east about 40 yards of the resort itself. They were tall. I looked at the trees that I could see that they were close to, and I would say they were most at least around 8+ feet tall. My heart shrank when Ryan looked at me and said, "Dad, I know what they are, and so do you." My heart then shrank, spun around, and took a dive into my gut. Bigfoot was all I could think it could be. And just when it could not get worse, the growling started, but this time from behind us, where the scream had come from. We were surrounded by a clan of Bigfoot, and we still could not find the dang keys. I dropped to the ground and started frantically searching and praying. Ryan held his ground well and kept turning back and forth, flashing light wherever he heard a noise. And boy did he. From a broken branch here to a growl there, snort, and eventually another scream, but this time from across the road. As I felt underneath the truck, I hit it. I hit the jackpot. I found the keys. But the excitement ended abruptly as I looked at my son, whose face turned whiter than the snow. The snow I was in from the sheer terror. I followed the beam of light from his hand that was at its end was shining upon the largest beast, ape, man, ugly thing I'd ever seen in my life. My face also turned to something resembling pure fear. My son, I thought quickly, get him out of here. I turned quickly and started pushing Ryan into the truck, and as I did, I could hear approaching footsteps, and they were heavy. I followed him and slammed the door shut as a big slap was heard and felt on the side of the truck. "It's right on the other side of the truck, Dad," Ryan yelled. I could see the shadow of something on its hands. I could see the shadow of something on its hands and feet, hunched down next to the truck through his side of the rearview mirror. I started the truck, and the sound of the engine and the wheels hitting the road never sounded so good in my life. Talk about scary. I've never been that afraid ever in my life. To tell you the truth, I was more afraid for my son. I had found those keys. I had to find those keys. Part 3, A Christmas Tree. The beautiful tree was unharmed, but the slap on the truck was not the truck after all. It was on the snowmobile. The Bigfoot that slapped it, it left a big and giant dent in it. However, we did not care. We only cared that we made it home alive and would spend another blessed Christmas together as a family. Today we have found somewhere else to go and get our Christmas tree every year. But I have to say, I've been tempted to go back and simply look around and see and see the evidence of Bigfoot that is literally running around the Union Creek area. Well, at least I'm tempted to do it. Merry Christmas.